just like Kylie, dance defined a lot of her life, singing seemed like defined a lot of your life at a very early stage, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I had a chance to talk with you and also your mother. And this was like started as early as like first grade, I think in Chinese school. But it wasn't just because you were interested in singing, you were going through some social experiences that actually prompted your mom to go, oh, I might need to put her in the spotlight. What's going on here?
Right. Well, my mom actually was a huge inspiration for me throughout. I mean, not only as a person, but as a performer, as a musician. So she loves to tell the story. My first word wasn't mom, wasn't dad. She worked at Yahoo, so the jingle, Yahoo. So she's like, you say your first word. But yeah, so when I was going into Chinese after school, around elementary school, maybe preschool, I did experience a little bit of bullying, and it was really unfortunate. I mean, as a kid, I just wanted to make friends, to have fun, be accepted, but I ended up feeling really self-conscious. I just became more closed off, and I couldn't really be myself. So then my mom thought it was a good idea to put me in children's musical theater. So those are the pictures in the corners. I had tons of great experiences through that. I was surrounded by people who could uplift me, encourage me, and just support me to be who I was. So there was that, but also in the middle, that was at my Chinese after school. That was my first ever solo. I was so nervous because originally 2 other girls were supposed to be singing with me, but they backed out last minute. But I definitely say, or I think that this would be a very important first step for me coming out of my shell.
So, and you were also down here, like in Ollie's quarters. So, when you were singing here, this is something that you already knew very early on that you loved, right?
Yes.
What kind of feeling did you get? What kind of emotions developed inside you just early on when you were singing and performing?
Well, of course there was the nervous jitters, but afterwards, it felt so amazing. I loved performing. It was so much fun for me, and I was just really grateful that I could be able to. I mean, my parents support me, and they go to every single one of my performances. They're actually here in the audience. But I love connecting with people, and I think performing arts is a great way of storytelling and making an impact.
So, as you were singing, you had all these different genres of what, maybe pop music, classical music, that you kind of zeroed in on musicals, right?
Mm-hmm.
So why did musicals become your center of attention at such an early age?
Probably because my mom put me in musical theater programs. It was just the main thing that I was exposed to as a child. So, I mean, musical theater is just fun in general. You get to play all these fun parts, all these costumes, and it's a great way for building self-confidence, I think. So, musical theater is a huge part of my life.
Of all your musicals, which one's your favorite and why?
Oh no. The ones that I've performed in? Or
No, the ones
in
that
general?
you love.
I really love Moulin Rouge. If you've heard of it, it's such a fun musical. There's the lighting, the costumes. It's such a fun show. Hades Town is really good. It's like a... I'm gonna go on and on, but...
Who's your favorite musical character?
What? Wait, these are like really hard questions now. I don't know.
Too many to choose
Too many to choose from, but if I was gonna go with a safe answer, Satine from Moulin Rouge.
I'm not good at this, but that's awesome.
Okay.
Okay, great. So now, you love musicals so much that you already knew by the time you're 13, 14, that you wanted to really specialize and get more focused in musicals right when you were in high school. But unfortunately, that didn't quite exactly work the way you planned. What happened as you were trying to transition from, I would say, elementary, grade school into high school?
Going into high school, I was so excited to audition for the fall musical. And after I auditioned, I found out that I didn't make the cast list, and I was so disappointed. But I ended up kind of pivoting my musical journey into more classical. So then I shifted more into the music program rather than the drama department. And learning that, it's a whole different side of music. The classical and choral music realm is really interesting, and it just broadened my horizons of music in general. But I asked my choir director, how could I get more involved with the music department? And I ended up joining every single vocal ensemble that I possibly could. I did I actually ended up leading a cappella groups and bringing them to semifinals for a national a cappella competition. And I arranged music. It just like opened many doors of opportunities for me.
What did getting outside of musicals and forcing you more like classical and other music genres teach you that you didn't know before?
Music is so much harder than people think. Oh my gosh. I mean, there's, of course, the music theory, oral skills, listening skills, there's that one. But there's also, in classical singing, they're usually singing in a different language. Most popular would be Italian, French, or German. So learning how to correctly pronounce those words, but also learn about what I'm singing, having those skills I think is really important as a performer, musician. It's a great skill set to have and build off from.
So as you were going down this whole road and going into learning more about different parts of music, was this something that took away from your love of musicals, or was it something that reinforced how you want to evolve your journey in developing your place in musicals?
Evolve?
As in, like, take what you've learned and make your own.
Yeah, I'd say evolve. I wanted to just continue building a strong classical foundation so that I can always build off of that and go into musical theater, have options open. So now I have a greater appreciation for any kind of music.
So you are now, obviously, typical high school student. You met a lot of your friends, and I'm assuming a lot of them were singers, like you were. They were probably going into things that accounting or maybe medical school track. So they were already thinking about different tracks they're going to apply in college. And you, at this early stage, were already thinking about being, actually, at what age were you considering singing to be an actual career?
Pretty early. I knew from very young that I wanted to pursue music. It was just something that's always been a part of my identity, something that I've always enjoyed. So once I got into senior year, I was kind of having some doubts because, like you said, a lot of my friends were going into completely different careers, but that also means they're applying to completely different schools. So I got very confused and had a lot of doubt. Is this the right choice for me? But I mean, it's my passion, so you gotta do what makes you happy.
Were you the only one from your high school to decide to go straight into music as the profession?
I think I'm the only person that is a vocal major in my entire class of around 450 students.
Wow. Okay. And so I remember now, because we have to talk about this too, when this came about, especially like during your junior year, senior year, and you were looking at applications, how did this start to influence you in at least your initial leg of your college application process?
Well, I actually ended up applying to a lot of schools that I didn't want to go to. It's just because it has a prestigious name, but it most likely doesn't really have what I'm looking for in terms of a good education in music. Having that, I was looking for something very conservatory-like, which is why I ended up choosing the college that I did. But I wanted extreme intensive training in music and just be focused in being a good performer, musician. But yeah, so I wasted a lot of my time and effort trying to apply to all these just prestigious schools, but they weren't really for me.
During this process of application, did you talk to any of your peers or parents or counselors about which colleges would be best for you, or was it something that you just said, well, if everyone else is applying to UCs and Stanford, then that's what I should be?
There was that, but I also did ask my mentors. I asked my parents, or a lot of alumni from my high school, or a lot of advice came from my choir director in high school. So he actually suggested I apply to Oberlin Conservatory because he knows that I would get that kind of training that I wanted there. So, I mean, a bunch of people helped me, but I think definitely either alumni or my teachers.
I want to explore, if you're comfortable with me asking this, what was it like during that first wave of applications and getting that first response, the first wave of responses of schools that, because you obviously were a strong student, you were at high 3.0s, 3.9s, and around that area, right? 3 point something, right? But you're up there, you were definitely like a good strong student. But I think probably because of the essays that you wrote, which was what you really wanted to do versus what your peers were like, oh, you know, your traditional stuff, you got a lot of results that came back that said, I don't think you're a good fit for us, right? How were you handling that first wave of reality check?
That was an extremely rough time for me. I mean, I just thought, what more could I have done? I did so much in high school. I had a bunch of leadership experience. I had a 4.0. I was really good at academics. So I thought I was really well-rounded. But like you said, a lot of these schools didn't end up accepting me. And I just thought to myself, this is the end of the world. Oh my goodness. But after having gone through the whole college application experience, it's only, how would you say, a pit stop at the road. There's always other doors that can open for you, and everything happens for a reason. I ended up not even wanting to go to some of the UCs that I was accepted into because I knew I wouldn't be an individual there. A lot of times, the classes are way too big. There are thousands of people in just one class. And I feel like you're more of a number in most cases, but at the college that I ended up going to, the student to faculty ratio is around 9-1. So I get a lot of focus and attention from my professors.
So, like you said, you ended up going to Oberlin, which is awesome here. And what was Oberlin like compared to what you were actually perceiving a lot of your peers? They're in UCs, but you're in Oberlin. What was it like the first week you're in Oberlin?
Meeting all of the other vocal majors, it was amazing. Being surrounded by people who have the same love and passion for music or performing arts that I do. And when I was listening to them sing in my vocal studio, the absolute talent, it was just, I was mind blown. I was so excited to be surrounded in an environment filled with students who can also inspire me and uplift me to be a better person and also a musician.
So you went almost overboard. You're so excited with your new environment that you also, well, you shared the story where you just decided to go crazy. Tell me a little bit about what that was like.
Right. So since I was so excited, I wanted to do all these extracurriculars, all these activities. And as I was seeing posters going through the school, I was like, oh, I want to do that. So I ended up signing up for dance auditions, or like maybe 4 a cappella groups, 2 musicals. It was a lot. And once my vocal professor found out, she just asked me, what are you going to do this weekend? And I said, well, I have like 5 auditions. And she looked at me like with the most concerned look on her face and was like, I think you should wait and try to figure out college first semester and then wait to maybe do 3 or 2 of those activities. So then I just ended up auditioning for their school musical.
So now, as you are going into your 2nd semester at Oberlin, what are you seeing? I know this is super early on in your career, but are you seeing where you really want to start focusing energy and focusing your skill sets and specialization and where your musical talents go?
Not yet, because I want to keep my options open. I mean, I'm only 18 years old, but like I said, I wanted to build a solid classical foundation so that I could also use those skills of being a musician to be a better performer. And I feel like through the training that I am currently getting, I'll be able to expand into different genres that I may be interested in the future. I mean, I still love musical theater. I'm actually going to be singing a song from a musical. We'll get to that later. But I think the possibilities are endless.
Is there anything that you have discovered that you would like to share for people who want to consider a career in entertainment, either as an actor, as a singer, as a musician, that you're already discovering in your path right now?
Mm. I think it's incredibly important to just embrace authenticity. We live in a world where the pressures to fit in this predetermined box can be pretty overwhelming. And from a young age, we're conditioned to mold ourselves into versions of ourselves that we necessarily don't want to be, but what others expect us to be. So then it's this constant battle between realizing your uniqueness and succumbing to the fear of rejection. And authenticity asks us to break away from this and accept who we really are and embrace that. And I think it's really important to realize that you should follow your passions and what you love to do. I mean, success isn't measured by societal expectations, but rather if you can feel fulfillment from what you do, and if you can make a difference through your passions.
And we talked about self-actualization and authenticity, and obviously that's something that's constantly a path that everyone's trying to travel. What advice would you give, and or some techniques that you use that really helps you zone in on your own authentic self?
If you choose to travel the road, or if you choose to go the road less traveled, do it. If it's your passion to go in that route, don't follow what other people are doing. Otherwise, you're just going to end up unhappy and realize this later down the road. But as long as you realize it, I say to take every opportunity you're given. You never know what doors may open from that, and you owe it to yourself to do all you can and put everything you can into it.
Yeah, that reminds me of that quote from Einstein, right? Where it says, if a fish is judged by its ability to climb a tree, it will think and grow, thinking itself stupid.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to find out what your true talent is and truly cultivate that. Now, you're going to share and perform a song for us, right?
Yes.
I believe it's Light in the Piazza?
Yes.
Now, what is so special about the song?
Well, I really like this. It's a beautiful song. It's from the musical The Light in the Piazza, and I think it's a great mix of what I like. It's legit classical, but it's from a musical. But it's a song about, it's kind of like a realization that of hope in a dark tunnel. And for me, my light in the piazza would definitely be my family. So I would love to perform it for everyone.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Sun is high.